In my last video, I discussed Hans Besser's Nile Crocodile, which was supposedly about 25 feet in length and 3 feet tall. In the video, I stated that based on the measurements he had of the skull, we could find the mass of this crocodile. There was a study from 2019 which found a correlation between head width and mass of crocodilians. I made the point in the video that as a crocodile's mass increases, so does the width and thickness of the skull. I was intending to use the equation of the study to determine the mass of the crocodile, but I decided to test it out with Lolong's measurements. I put Lolong's head width into the equation and it came out way below Lolong's true mass by about 40%. I initially took this as concerning, but thought it was okay based on two things. One, we don't have a lot of data on large crocodilians, especially large crocodiles that are over 20 feet in length. Plus, with weight varying between individuals, some inconsistencies and errors are expected. 2. With the equation giving me an underestimate for Lolong, I thought it would give me an underestimate for Besser's croc. So with that in mind, I did the equation and even upscaled the mass a bit. I looked at it and thought it was a strange mass, but plausible. I decided to stick with the mass and used it in the video. When I released the video, some of you were skeptical. However, what made me really reconsider all of this was when you brought up masses and bite forces of prehistoric crocodilians, and that this croc rivaled or exceeded estimates for those animals. With that in mind, I decided to use another equation. The following equation is from the book Biology and Evolution of Crocodilians, and it uses length to determine mass. The equation is for saltwater crocodiles, but I felt that it was usable for Nile crocodiles. The equation was also close to Lolong's true mass, which gave me more confidence. For the equation, I used the following length for the Nile crocodile, based on the fact Besser said a quarter of the tail was missing. I ended up with a mass just under 3,000 kilograms, or about 6,500 pounds. With this new mass, I was able to find its bite force with this equation. Based on the new mass, this animal had a bite force of around 88,000 newtons, or just under 19,800 pounds of force. While these measurements still indicate a large crocodilian, they are nowhere near the original equation I was using. I would say these numbers are more realistic. However, we can possibly get greater numbers if we use this equation. While this equation is for American alligators, it has been noted that the growth of American alligators is similar with that of Nile crocodiles. This equation also gave me a close number with another estimation of a large Nile crocodile. With this equation, we get a mass that's a bit under 3,800 kilograms, or a little under 8,300 pounds. We also get a bite force of about 111,000 newtons, or just over 25,000 pounds of force. The problem with these measurements is that they once again rival the estimates of prehistoric crocodilians such as Deinosuchus, so let's look at these numbers as a potential range. However, at the end of the day, these are just estimates, not precise answers. These numbers just give us something to work with. Also, as much as this giant crocodile story is interesting considering the measurements reported, it's just that, a story. There's no physical evidence to look back on, and we don't have any concrete proof this crocodile existed. As much as I do believe this crocodile should be mentioned and could have been a real animal, it shouldn't be looked at as a verifiable record. For all we know, Besser BS'd the whole thing or just mistakenly took inaccurate measurements. We'll never know, but you can decide if this story is a hoax created by a man that wanted attention, or an example of a creature that proves giants once walked among us. To learn more about the animals you just saw, buy my book, What We Get Wrong About Crocodilians. It examines claims of giant crocodiles, a World War II massacre, their regenerating tails, alligators and sewers, their record land speeds, and more. The book looks at a variety of subjects many people, including experts, get wrong about these animals, and I desperately wanted to dispel the myths that have persisted so long. Buy What We Get Wrong About Crocodilians in physical or digital formats. Link in bio, comments, or description to buy.